Hey guys, it's all ready then. Today we're going to be showing you how to replace the servo, the steering servo on a TRX4M. There are several ways of messing up the servos. If you get the wheel stuck in a rut and you try to turn and the servo has a struggle, you could potentially break it. Or if this thing goes tumbling down and falls on the wheel, it's possible that it could break the servo. So in this case, we have a faulty servo. Let's see what a bad servo looks like. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on our remote control. Always turn on the remote control first, and then we're going to turn on our battery. Or plug in the battery. So if we hit the throttle, it goes back and forth, no problem. But when we turn the steering, you see how it shakes like that? That means the servo is bad. So somehow the servo broke, which does happen. Thank God we have extra parts. So in this video, we're going to show you how to remove the servo and put a new one. We're going to be replacing it with this ramp crab. It's a unique design for more fun, exclusive high-end parts for RC cars. Made in China. Chica to China. Okay. They didn't pay me anything to make this video. I'm just doing it on my own. So let's get to it. We're going to use our 1.5 millimeter Allen key. We'll get us some snips. There used to be a little zip tie connected to it that we're just gonna we already cut it off, so that's why I have these extra ones. So these are all the tools that I need, unless these come with something different, but we'll see. So first things first is to remove the servo. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna loosen. If I compress the springs, it brings this screw a little bit closer, and I can use that to just loosen it. I don't need to remove it all the way. This one I will have to remove it all the way, the one in the front. So we're gonna take that off. And you just pop it up. Oh, one more thing. We had to disconnect this one. That's the steering drive to the servo. Let's just get that off. And we are out. Okay. Always try to work on a surface that is not so bouncy. If these things were to fall on the wood table, they'd bounce off and just kind of end up boing, 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 going everywhere. So here, when they bounce, they kind of stay and they don't go anywhere. And that works, and it won't scratch your car. So here, with this back one loosened, the front one out, you can just, oh, you know what? No, I got to take them all out. Never mind. I guess we could have left this one, but it doesn't matter. We're just going to take the back one off and just let it fall right there. And now the servo can come up and out. There it is. So we're going to need this again, maybe. So we're going to need the 2 millimeter to take that off. So let's just get rid of that. We could save it. We don't know yet, but let's see. We might need it just for the distance. Now, these little servos, they're pretty good, but this one just couldn't take it. So if we turn it again, with no load, it works. But the minute you put some load on it, you can see it starts to shake. So we can take this off and just let's disconnect the battery and unplug it. One servo done. Okay. Alrighty, so now let's open up this new one. Ooh, look, it comes with all the different type of steering drives. Comes with a whole set of them. This is the one we're going to use right here because I believe that's the one that matches, and it does. So we're going to be using this nice aluminum one. Aluminum. There it is. Look at that. That's pretty. See that? And the holes match. So if you hold them like this, they're going to be a perfect match, so we know it's going to be just right. Okay? Now, before you install the servo, it is important to make sure that it is in the neutral position. So here's the servo, okay? And the way you make sure it's in the neutral position is you have to turn it on. And also, this is the trim on the remote control. This is your trim right here. And this, when the car is steering slightly to the left or slightly to the right, you can adjust this to get it going straight. So it's really important that you get it as straight as possible initially, so that you have to do little to no adjustments. So the brown is considered the black. So if you look at the Traxxas, cables, the brown is the same as the black, the red is the same, and the yellow is your white. So the same way this one connected, you notice how there's that little button, this little notch that sticks out. On the aftermarket one, there's no notch, so it could fit either way. So the way you know is if you take your old plug Let's remove the lights. So if you were to take your old plug and put it where it says servo, notice the little notch is right here. So the black would be towards me, or actually the black is away from me. So now I know that when I'm plugging this one in, that the brown has to be away from me as well. And we're gonna plug it in just like that. So now we know this is the right orientation and it's gonna work. So we're gonna plug this in. Oh, we don't need to do that, that's the lights. Let's plug this one in. There we go. So now when we turn the wheel, this should turn, and it does. So right now it's resting in the neutral position, so I can take this, put it in the neutral position. Notice it's slightly off. That's what the trim is for. So it's either I put it like this or it turns in. It's never gonna end up being straight. That's the way the gears are. So that's where the trim is gonna come in, where we can slightly turn it. You see how we can kind of turn it a little bit just with the trim. So I'm turning the trim button here, and as I turn it, you see it just makes these little micro adjustments. Okay, that's what we're gonna need, and we can't get it any closer to 0. So that's the best right there. Or let's see if we use the original one, because we could use the original one, but it doesn't bite, you see, so we can't. So we're just gonna put this one, we know it's in the 0 position, and we're gonna grab the screw that belongs to it. And I believe it's this machined screw right here. So that's gonna go right in there with a regular Phillips screwdriver. So you will need a small Phillips screwdriver for this. So I'll grab it from my little kit right here. Here's my Phillips screwdriver, and I'm just gonna screw that in. Now you could put a little bit of Loctite in there just to make sure it doesn't come out, but I'm gonna leave it just like that. Now, let's see if this fits inside this old servo unit. Let's disconnect the battery now that we know we have it in neutral and we know that it works. Let's see if it'll fit in here. And this servo holder is just a little bit too small. That's why they did come with a nice metallic one. So we're gonna have to change the old one and put this one in its place. And in order to do that, we're gonna have to get rid of this long screw right here. So once we get rid of that long screw, it'll all come off. And that is a 1mm screw. We are gonna have to be careful with the links, because the links are gonna come out. So this is gonna be kind of a tricky operation, but we can do it. I'm gonna see if I can do this without taking out as little as possible. Can it be done? Let's see if it can be done, in fact, without having to dismantle the whole car. Okay, so now we can pop this off. There are these two little pins that have to come off on the inside. That's the thing with working with these little 1/16 or 1/18 scale cars. Everything is super tiny. Oh, it just keeps popping back in. All right, there it is. So let's remember the orientation. Notice how the short end was towards the back and the long end was towards the front. So we're gonna put this one the same way. Short end towards the back, long end towards the front. So we're gonna put it back just the same way. And the links have to go back on the inside, and these go on the outside. So here we go. It's gonna be tricky, but we could do it. Okay, one pin is in. I'm waiting. I want this one to go in. See, I just want this pin to fall right in. So I just gotta lift it up a little bit. There it is. All right, they're in. So now we're gonna take this long screw and put it through this hole here. Make sure that it goes through the link, which it is. Now we gotta make sure it goes through this one. Let's line it up. Okay, that's one of them. Oh, it popped out again. This is a game of patience, guys. You gotta have the patience. Hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing on camera. Little by little. The screw's too deep. Let me push it back. Okay, there it goes. Now I'll be able to put it back in. So would it have been easier to dismantle the whole car, take the tires off, take the links off, and do all this stuff? Maybe. But you know what? That's okay. All right, there it goes. And there it is. Don't over tighten it. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are in action. Our steering is working. All our links are in. Everything is Gucci. Okay, so now we have our new servo. And again, it's going to go in first and the other way. So we got to put the little servo arm first and then lay it back, and look how it fits nice and neat. And we can use the same, actually we're going to use the screws that they provided, these little skinny ones right here. That's what they provided to mount, so we're going to use those. And I do believe these are the 1.5 millimeters, which they are. There we go. So we'll put this one first. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this one in there. I'm going to start it. Oh, you see, it came with these. It came with these right here to give it more support. So these go on top of it so that they can lay right on top of the arms to give it a little bit more support for it to be stronger. So that's nice. So let's see if we can just do this one at a time. So let's put it in place. And very carefully, we will put our plate. And then we're going to put the screw in there. And the plate should hold the screw up for us. There we go. We're going to use what they gave us to our advantage. Let's go. Come on, get in there. All right, there it goes. Nice. I'm not going to tighten it because I still got to get the back one in. But for the back one, I'm going to compress the shocks. I'm going to put this, let it lay right on top of there. Okay. And I'm going to take the small screw and see if I can get it in there. Come on. That's when I wish this tool was magnetized, but it isn't. Is this one magnetized? No, it is not. That's okay, we'll get it in. You want to hold it with my finger, like that. And just put it in just like this. There it is. All right, that wasn't too bad. Okay, make sure you don't cross thread it. It's easy to cross thread these things. And don't over tighten. All right, the servo's in. So now let's plug it in and see if it works. And then what we'll do after is we'll reroute it. We can start doing that now. So we know it's got to go over here. They have it going under the chassis. So it is going under this. So if we want it to look nice, oh, it's just going right through it. So we'll put it through here, through the bottom. Okay, up to the top. There it is. Okay. That's looking good. Okay, so check it out. It's like right there. We don't even have to tie it in, but we will just to make sure. So remember, the brown goes away from us, and the first one is the servo, and the other two are for lights. So we can put the servo in. We're gonna connect our lights back on. Okay, let's put our battery in. Okay, and here goes the battery plugged in. And watch, it should straighten itself out once it, let's see. Oh, you know what happened? I forgot to plug this one in. So last thing we have to do is just turn this around and connect this to the actual arm with the provided screw. So we're gonna use one of these long ones because that's what came with this servo. All right, there we go. And that is the same 1.5 millimeter. And there it is. It took it. Don't over tighten. There it is. Okay, let's take a look. Beautiful. We are back in action, peoples. And now we can use the trim. You see, we're going to use the trim to see if we can adjust that. And that's all. Woohoo! Great. Okay, that's it. Now it's just a matter to just test it out, or it's done really. Now for just safety purposes, just to keep these looking kind of neat, you see how they have a little zip tie there? I'm gonna put one here too, just to kind of keep it all together. Just gonna tie everything in right here. Keep everything nice and neat and orderly. That's what I like. I like order. Come on, let me go from the bottom to the top then. From the bottom up, there we go. I'll just tie this right here. Okay, see? Now you want to give it just a little bit of freedom here because this has to articulate like this. You don't want to make it too tight or else it'll bind and you could lose the servo. So just give yourself a little bit of wiggle, because the suspension will articulate and kind of go up and down. So you don't want to go too tight because then you'll, cut the cable. And here we're going to cut the little zip tie nice and close with our little snips. And that's it. We're all done. Woohoo! Beautiful, guys. Okay, let's plug this in so you can get the full idea of what it looks like. Look at these nice lights. Perfect. It just snaps right in. We got the snorkel. We got the little tool things with the net. And let's see, make sure it goes back and forth. Whoa, and it steers. Beautiful. All right, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm not sponsored by Traxxas or any type of company. Make sure you subscribe and let me know if you have any other ideas or any other projects you want to work on with the RC cars. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace.